The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
So,
Yes.
I've always wanted to take a cruise.
Have you, though?
Yeah, I have. The idea is
Talked
amazing.
about it. You've talked about it.
Yeah.
I want to see the follow through is not any of our
Yeah.
things. So
and then,
yes.
of course, the
No, so
whole
I've never wanted to.
the whole COVID situation happened.
Yeah.
I remember when they were just out at sea and no country wanted to take them.
No,
They were
absolutely.
just moored off the, anchored off the coast of Japan. I
No
know.
one wanted to take them, and
No.
I was just out in sea on a ship that, like,
Full of
They
disease.
couldn't. Yeah, they wanted to get. I mean, it all started from the COVID ship who
Yes.
arrived in Sydney at
Yeah,
that
the
time,
Ruby
and we were
Princess.
just able to. People just wander out.
Yeah.
So I totally understand that, Nathan. So many people I've spoken to recently have like, you've got to go on.
I know.
You know, don't worry about that thing. Don't worry about it. COVID happened in the
But
past.
think about it,
Get
right?
on there, have
Think
a great
about it.
time.
Think
COVID
about
is
it.
very much a thing of the present.
Think about it. Your hotel room travels.
Yeah.
Yes.
So while you're sleeping, you're going somewhere else. That's pretty magical, isn't it? I
Oh my
suppose
God.
the same's true with cars, planes, and
Yes.
trains.
Trains, yeah.
Anyway, but it's a great concept, and I think it'll really catch on.
Will it though?
The
There's a
Princess
story about to
Cruise
tell.
the Princess Cruise Grand Princess ship docked in Port Adelaide on Monday after a nightmare health breakout.
Oh.
Swept through 2,600 passengers and 1,150 staff. Gastro and COVID-19 at the same time.
It's a bad combination.
So one woman said that they didn't tell them straight away what was going on the ship, because when you're on a ship,
Yeah.
as we hear, if something like this happens, they just
Well, the people
yeah,
quick,
everyone-
everyone-
look at the
You
buffet.
bet.
Look at
Yes.
the buffet.
Yes.
Ham.
It's a shuffleboard, anyone?
Yeah. So one chick said that we had a man 2 doors down from us who had COVID and gastro.
I mean, that's a bad day.
we didn't know about it, but you could smell it down the hall.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. You talk like COVID's one thing, and some people do get gastro symptoms with COVID, but you're on a. Think about it. What's the sewerage system?
Yeah.
It stays
It's
on the
all on the
ship.
boat, isn't
it's
it?
there.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's got to deal with it, and it's right next to you.
Another person that was on the ship that had COVID and gastro at the same time, they said they never saw them. They just saw that room was served breakfast, lunch and dinner for 10 days straight. 10 days straight, that person. What is that person
Just
going?
food.
Imagine a camera in that person's room. What are you going through?
Oh,
So,
my God.
And I mean, a lot of those cabins don't have windows.
Yeah.
No,
you
of
have
course
to
not.
pay extra for the windows.
Do you reckon
So if
how
you're
many
in an
times do you reckon?
internal cabin,
Yeah.
it's
It's
a
locked in.
dark
Yeah.
little room, and
Yeah.
food's just left outside your door for 10 days.
And every time you cough, you poo yourself.
That is terrible.
No, but I want to know. I want to talk to people, right? So COVID-19, terrible, right?
Terrible,
Gastro, terrible. Together, oh my God. We want to know, getting more than once, something,
Yes.
you know, more than one thing at once.
The double whammy,
Yeah, not even
basically.
double whammy, triple, quadruple. How many things did you have go wrong with you in a period of time?
I can think of a real
At
small
once?
one. When we were in Bali, when you jump on a flight or you stay in a hotel room in the first couple of days, you always get one of those like colds.
Yeah. Like,
And-
aeroplane cold. Yeah.
So I had a snotty nose and all the rest of it, but I was thinking, I was still out and about because we were in Bali.
Yeah.
We went surfing and then I cracked a rib straight away. So anyway, what that ends up meaning that when we went out or at a place, if I was blowing my nose, which I had to do at times, and
The
or
pain
a,
on
and
your
or a
ribs.
sneeze, which happened, the pain that went through my ribs from
Oh,
cracking
no.
a rib was unbelievable.
All right. There is, unfortunately, many things happening with you at once, all at the same time. We want to know what they were and how bad it was to deal with. We're going to give somebody $300 voucher to Republic of Fremantle Distilling Co.
It is
Awesome.
a great spot.
Yes, gift someone a gin making experience with a gin school gift voucher from republicoffremantle.com.
Done it, and it's brilliant. All right, did you have more than one thing wrong with you at the same time? Sue's in Mindari. Hi, Sue.
Hello.
Hi, Sue.
What did you get all at once?
Well, about 4 years ago, I suffered a brain hemorrhage.
Oh.
And I was rushed into hospital. It's in hospital for 4 weeks, but the medication they put me on for the pain caused me to have constipation.
That's, yeah.
That happens a lot.
That's, yeah,
so I've
anything
been
with
through that.
codeine in it
Nah.
does that. Yeah.
Clogs you up.
So they're saying to me, no straining under no circumstances. Are you allowed to strain with a brain hemorrhage? So,
You're not allowed to strain with the brain.
So what do you do?
Sue?
well, you don't go for 4 weeks. So for
4
4
weeks?
I was in hospital, couldn't go, was in so much pain with my head, so much pain with my belly.
Oh, my God.
In the end, they gave me something called dynamite, and it worked.
Dynamite.
Dynamite.
So
Was
wait,
it in chocolate form?
so during that 4 weeks, they didn't like funnel it out of you or anything.
Or give you some prune juice.
No, they tried all different forms of laxatives. I must have tried every single laxative under the sun.
Oh my god!
my
But
God.
4 weeks, Sean. You know those
That's
Play-Doh machines
dangerous.
where you squeeze it and the Play-Doh comes out of people's noses and
Yeah.
stuff.
That's a lot of poo in your body there, Sue.
That's a lot of poo in your
Thank
body
you.
there, Sue.
Thanks
Was the
for that
sentence you just said.
analysis. Yeah.
I just think, the
I
Play-Doh
mean-
build-up got me. Because, yes.
So amazing that you even survived a brain hemorrhage. Like that can be fatal.
Oh my god!
I know. I was very, very lucky.
That is
Yeah, she
so
survived the
funny,
brain
guys.
hemorrhage, but died of
Screaming.
constipation.
Can you believe that? Oh, God.
That's
a great start,
that
Sue.
one. Yeah, that one's got us, Sue, for sure. Thank you. Let's go to Kristen in Darling Downs. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Hey, Kristen.
Do you have more than one thing wrong with you at once, Kristen?
Yes. When I was 9, I had a broken arm from school, and then I ended up with chicken pox, and I had an infected earlobe because I just got my ears pierced.
Oh,
That's a triple
so she
whammy.
had
Triple whammy.
3.
Because my brother had that double, and I can still remember. I was really little, but I have this memory of him with a knitting needle down the cast to scratch the itchy pox on his arm.
Yeah.
Chicken pox.
So,
The kids don't get them any days. That upsets
there's a
me because we had
vaccine
so
for it.
Do you
many.
know
of
what?
them,
Can
I
I
know,
just
but
tell
we
you
had
right
them
now?
all the time.
Can I tell you, the kids get all the good stuff, none of the bad stuff these days. You know what I mean? Like look how skinny their TVs are, and no chicken pox. We had fat TVs and pox.
And we didn't have TVs in our bedrooms.
That's right.
Oh, thanks, Kristen. Ryan's in Bibra Lake. Hello.
How you going?
Hey,
Ryan, did you have more than one thing wrong with you at once?
Yeah, I got hand, foot, and mouth a few years ago.
All 3.
So I
a
hope
kid-
you've got kids, yeah?
Yeah, as a kid, it doesn't really affect them, but when you're an adult, you get covered in blisters, like chicken pox, down your throat.
Oh no!
Oh,
The
yes.
most itchiest thing ever.
No.
So I was quarantined, and then my testicle exploded from cancer.
Oh,
my God! Right.
What do you
throw
mean?
that at us.
Just like suddenly in bed, it just went poof.
No, I was watching a movie, and then I was like, well, that's a bit painful, and I went to stand up, and it just, the most agonising pain I've ever felt. I was home alone, and I was even swearing and yelling and carrying on.
I mean, we've got an important question, Ryan. What movie were you watching?
Sicario.
Sicario. Okay, so that's
What's
like
Sicario
a gangster
about?
movie about the.
Yeah.
Yep.
It would have been so funny if it was a shooting scene. And you're like, oh, man.
Right, Ryan. What did you do? So what do? You call the hospital? You go in and then they tell you you've had an exploding testicle.
An ambulance on a Saturday night,
Yeah.
and so I had some guy doing a scan on my ball sack.
Yes.
Yes.
Wasn't how I thought my Saturday was going to end.
No.
I mean, you hope, but yeah.
Yeah, and then they were like, it's cancer, you got to have it removed.
Oh, how
but
terrifying.
because you've got hand, foot and mouth, you have to wait the pain out for another week before we can operate on it.
So officially, you had hand, foot, mouth, and testicle at the same time. That is unbelievable.
That is
I've never
hectic.
heard of exploding testicles.
Are you okay now
I bet you have.
after the cancer, Ryan?
Yeah, they got it all out eventually,
Yeah.
and all good. 6 years
good.
later.
That's good.
That's
Far out.
fantastic.
What a terrifying
wonder.
thing.
That's the nickname down the footy club for sure. Okay, $300 voucher.
Don't rub it in his face. It's right there.
Oh, don't rub 2 of them in his face.
More to the point.
one.
$300 voucher to the Republic of Fremantle Distilling Co. Nat's a cracker, isn't it? Give
is, love
someone
it.
a gin making experience with a gin school gift voucher from the Republic of Fremantle. Sue, I really like your story, but Ryan's story,
gotta be
wow.
Ryan. It's gotta
geez,
be Ryan.
This is coming your way.
There you go, mate.
Literally the least we
Thank
can
you
do.
very much.
No worries. You have a ball.
Don't. Leave him alone.
That was great.
You see,
And the
you
volcano.
and you were after sensitivity training.
It's the Nathan, Nat and Sean podcast.
Now, I thought we'd do something really different right now.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of celebrities making money off books that we're going to read out every word of Matt Preston and memoir, Big Mouth, just so everyone can just hear it
So it's
and they don't have
almost
to buy
400
it.
pages.
Righto, so what chapter am I having?
Because this is at
Guys
least
that want
30.
the
This is
photos?
at least $30 or something, isn't it? At least.
Matt
At
Preston, hello.
Hello. Oh.
Yeah, I can tell you, having read the whole book for the audiobook, it takes 8 hours. It's a really, really long read.
I'm not doing overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's right. You'll be hearing tomorrow. But even worse than that, when you write a book, the sentences are really long, and when you do radio, they're very short. And so reading it means you have to take the world's largest breath of air before you start. So yeah, all you hear in the book is me wheezing, going.
Matt Preston, that's enough from you. All right, let's begin. Prologue. It's the spring of 2008, and I'm standing in a teaching kitchen at Box Hill TAFE with a couple of Melbourne chefs, Guy Grossi and Gary.
Never heard of him. I tell you what, it is actually really well written, Presto, and this is no surprise because you were a journalist, you were a writer first, and it shows. It is a rollicking good read.
Well, I'm glad, because I think the thing you forget with most memoirs is they're not written by the person. That makes it, they're written by a ghostwriter, and so the story is kind of retold. And I think what I find so interesting, but also so confronting about writing is you write stuff and you go, is that really true? And you go, oh, no, actually, it probably wasn't. I need to be more honest. So that's been the challenge with the book is, going, stopping and said, no, you didn't really feel like that. It wasn't great. It was actually painful. Or alternatively, it wasn't really painful. Actually, it was fine. And that's been good therapy for me. Good therapy.
Hey, Matt, when you look online and see all the stories written about you, one that jumps out straight away, particularly about the book, is everyone wants to focus on the fact that you had to come clean to your kids at the airport about being adopted.
Yeah, that's right. Well, the classic way that the kids are really sharp. My daughter, talking to my wife about where my second birth certificate was, and my daughter just went, "Why have you got 2 birth certificates? You must be adopted. Tell us more." And it's like, well, okay, I've never told you this. Let me tell you the whole story. We're standing at the gates for Jetstar. There's a million people, holidaymakers, screaming kids. It's like the worst possible moment, worst possible place to reveal deep held family secrets. But actually, there's never a good time for it. It was actually the perfect time, and it's the perfect place really to start the book and go, well, okay, we need to go back to what your grandparents got up to, what your grandmother got, what my grandparents got up, what your grandmother got up to, and reveal all that stuff. And there's never a right time to do that, but I think there's also, you just got to do it. And what I found the fascinating thing about this book, there are lots of kind of scandally stuff and you go, oh, that was quite unique. But the number of people, friends who go, oh my gosh, well, this happened to me, and suddenly we're talking about stuff that they've not talked about. It's been a kind of a commonly cathartic experience.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure.
Writing a memoir at the moment, saying the same thing.
I was pretty excited that I'm on page 2.
Yes.
Page 2.
You read so much of the book.
No. It only took to page 2 for you to name one of our heroes, and that is Henry Stride.
Oh, yes, Nath. I saw Henry.
So Henry's your manager, of course.
Yeah.
But she was also Sam Pang's manager.
And she's the one that ended up penning a deal for Sam Pang to start a breakfast show at 7 a.m. and only work 2 hours. It's legendary in this industry. But she's the reason that you got on MasterChef.
Yeah, she was. This is again that when those weird sliding moments. So Henry Stride's mum worked in a kindergarten with my mum, and when Henry Stride was looking to cast chefs, her mother-in-law said, "Look, you got to talk to Jennifer's son Matthew. He knows a few chefs." So she rang me for advice on what chefs she should cast, because they were only looking for 2 chefs as the judges. They weren't looking for 3 judges. And about an hour into the phone call, she asked for a photo. I sent a photo. The story goes, no CV, no knowledge of who I was. They just liked the grubby cravat. And they went, bang, we'll have a 3rd judge. If this guy can speak, we'll give him a role. So thank you very much to Henry Stride. So it's a huge part of the story is hers. And respect to you, I think the first person to do that 7 a.m. deal was actually Mick Malloy.
Yeah, I think you're right.
One of my great mentors. And what a brilliant idea. And
don't you reckon?
If you can pull it off, it's brilliant. Yeah,
hey,
we'd
Matt,
love that.
Looking through the book too, I noticed there wasn't a chapter on the time that we first went out with you, which was when we went over, we were burger hunting around in WA. We ended out at Alfred's Kitchen.
Yes.
It was one of my best moments ever.
But it didn't make the book.
So
what you're suggesting, it wasn't perhaps one of Matt Preston's best times ever?
Perhaps.
You know what it is? Oh. It was there. In the first draft, it was there. Obviously, Alfred was such a seminal moment. Going to the public bar, listening to how Shaun saved someone's life in the surf at Bali. They were all there. And my great admiration for Mr. McManus was obviously, that was a chapter at least.
But it was severely cut by all the editors.
And also it was wrong because it wasn't Sean saving someone; it was Sean being saved.
Well, I was attempting to save somebody.
But it's my memoir. I remember it.
Yes, as you remember it.
My friends look good.
Matt, I was intrigued by the story about the reason that you came to Australia being for love. Basically, you followed a girl here, but then that girl didn't pick you up from the airport.
No, it was terrible. I think it took 9 months to get the kind of the de facto status to move over here. So our relationship, I reckon, had died. And I wasn't surprised because the night before I was about to fly out was like, "Are you sure it's a good idea you come?" And I've gone, "Oh well, I'm kind of, like that moment in the cartoon when someone they run off a cliff and they realise they run off a cliff and they're trying to struggle to get back there."
Yes.
I was in that point. I came, and that relationship lived for maybe a couple of months, and then we ended up. And then I started playing tennis with one of her friends, and that friend turned out to be the woman who I decided was the one I want to spend the rest of my life with, and we're still together 29 years on.
Oh, so the moral of that is, if you're casually dating someone, always go and play tennis with their friend, just in case.
Just don't know, no.
Because their friend may be the one you're supposed to be with.
Well, will also always be the dump one because therefore you then get sympathy from their friends. That's the most important lesson.
Oh, so make sure that you're dumped by the tennis friend. Gosh.
Too smart.
Tennis, you writing tennis down?
Tennis friends.
Hey, Matt, the whole thing when MasterChef in particular took off and you wrote in this, being recognised everywhere you went, that whole blow-up situation from, well, relatively unknown to just crazy stuff. How was that?
Look, I've done a show called My Restaurant Rules. I'd had a snatch of that, and it kind of went to my head. I mean, I've thought about it. So I was a bit of a dickhead, but when it happened with MasterChef, it was such a surprise, and also I was, a good 10 years old and a good 10 years more sensible, and it was just like, what was lovely about MasterChef is, people talk about fame, but it was more familiarity.
Yeah.
I'd walk down the street in person, people would say, "Oh, morning, Matt. Morning, Matt." And you go, "Hi, how you going?" And then be with my wife. She'd go, "Do you know them?" And I go, "No, they just watch the show and they're just uncomfortable saying good morning." That's a beautiful privilege. And then the next question would be, they come up and say, and they'd want a photo, and I go, "Where should I go?" And they tell me about a great Fijian place out in the suburbs, and you go, "Wow, thank you so much." You go out there and eat. So, it's that whole thing of bizarrely you suddenly make a whole new raft of friends and acquaintances, which is beautiful.
Yeah,
just my favourite thing to do with you, being Matt Preston, is to walk into a restaurant with you and just actually
unannounced.
hearing people's sphincters tighten.
Yes.
it's like and hearing that on Matt,
the look on their faces is terrifying. That was a little too graphic, Nathan. A little too graphic.
Oh, is that Michael Winslow in the room?
But you must be used to that reaction, that crestfallen, "Oh no." I mean, they're happy and they're terrified all at once.
Yeah, well, I think, and your job then is to go, "I'm so excited to be here. I've heard pretty good things about this dish, and what else do you recommend?" And you want them to have that moment of pride when they put something that they know is really good, and you go, "Gee, that's delicious." That's a lovely thing to be able to do. So I think because I stopped reviewing 14 years ago, that kind of is the man with a big stick kind of thing dissipated, and now I just love it because you can automatically start from a point where you say, "What can I have? What do you recommend? What do you think?" And they get excited, because I'm excited, and that's again, that's the great joy of meeting new people, is the excitement that I feel and that they feel as well. That's beautiful.
Well, it's a rollicking read. Everybody should grab a copy of Big Mouth, or Nathan can read it to you if you like.
I'll be doing a reading today at Forest Chase from 10 a.m.
And Matt, the cover, you look unbelievably handsome. We know you're a handsome dude anyway, but that's a great photo, and the graphics are outstanding.
Yeah. Can I tell you one thing? They say the camera doesn't lie, but the hands of the right photographer, it certainly lies.
No, you look amazing.
Tells a few white lies, that's all. It's great to catch up, Matt. Come to Perth and see us again. We haven't seen you in ages.
Yeah, I know. I was saying it's really unfair. It's one of my great joys is coming and hanging with you and you taking me somewhere really, really exciting. So let's work that out. Next year,
let's make it happen.
I want another fancy pants party.
Yeah, that was great. How good was that?
Granted, some very special times, but not special enough to make it into the book.
Make it into the book.
It's the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Nathan's back, fresh off a 4-day
good,
long
yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
I just told you something, Nate.
That's funny.
I'm outraged.
You are outraged. So I just received a gift from the Nova family for 15 years in the biz, and you guys received one for 20 years in the biz.
Yeah, we had to wait 20 years to get our present.
What happens, we're assuming, is Lachlan, who owns the business, he's got a cupboard and he's got to deal with a guy named
Gail Jensen.
You
You might know him as George Jensen.
George
but-
Jensen.
Everyone gets
but
a
I've been to
George
Copenhagen.
Jensen thing. So, Natalie, you received for your 20 years.
Like a wire bread basket and a glass carafe with a wooden stopper.
And of course, me, as you know, I have so many celebrations on yachts and other things.
Yes.
So I got an ice bucket and tong set, a George Jensen.
I don't want to open it yet, so it's
What do you mean?
beautifully covered.
Is it here?
Yeah, Ali, can you bring in the George Jensen, please? I know
Bring
you're
in the
listening.
George Jensen, Ali.
Bring in the Gail Jensen, Ellie.
It's like in a squarey. I won't say square. It's probably more so rectangle
box.
Yeah. So it's more flatter than I guess. It couldn't be an ice bucket. Is what I'm saying.
Oh,
mate.
okay. Maybe you got the bread basket and glass carafe set.
Really, grass.
That's because mine came in a box that shape. I know,
Okay,
but
so
also,
20
can we
years in the
just
biz.
No one was moving slower than Ali.
can we just revisit the fact that you got this after 15 years and we had to wait 20? So what's that about?
Well, I think that's about the fact that they
You're not
realise
gonna make
Sean's not
20.
going to be around here for 20.
Go on, open it up.
Do you
Open
want?
up. All right, wire bread basket.
It's so nicely packaged, though.
Wire
And Ali
bread
Reid did this
basket.
for me too.
I got a ice bucket and tongs.
Okay.
All right. You've got a George Jensen.
It's just a box of outrage.
It's really well.
It's very
nicely wrapped. Yes, they've used
Fantastic
double-sided
wrapping.
tape.
The Murdoch family, they do
Yes,
things well.
they do.
Okay.
I wouldn't show it around like that.
Jensen, established in 1904.
Copenhagen.
Rip it open. You're not covering books with the paper.
It's so nicely done, mate. I didn't want to do it.
What did you get? Did you get a salad bowl?
What is it? It's a salad
He got
bowl.
a salad bowl and wooden tongs. Sean, you won.
Is that it?
No way, really?
You know why? Because that's something we've used.
Actually used.
It's our salad bowl, really?
As a salad bowl.
Okay.
Open
A
it
salad
up.
bowl with wooden tongs.
By appointment to Her Majesty and the Queen of Denmark.
Yes.
Jorge Lorenzo. George Jensen.
What are you doing?
Gail Jensen.
Have you not
bloody
opened
open this
any?
thing?
Are you serious?
Have you never
It's nicely
encountered a box
done.
before? What is wrong with you?
I've opened it. Oh, no,
it's a silver.
Natalie, that's a dog bowl.
It's a
I've never seen one.
silver bowl
And
with.
that is
two
a
wooden
dog bowl.
spoons.
Well, can your dog use tongs? Like
No, I'm
salad
not saying that
savers?
part of.
It's a good wood sniffet.
Okay, yeah.
I know.
It's quality wood. It's got a quality wood
you
smell.
idiot.
Is that a dog's bowl?
It's
Nathan?
no. Oh, well,
Yes.
my
Natalie,
dog.
come
My
on,
dog
Natalie.
doesn't have meals that big, so no.
It does look like a dog bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Is that oh, no joke, a salad
But also,
bowl? I know it's got the tongs, but
It says, of course, it's a salad. What do you think? What do you think they're for?
I understand the sticks thing, but if you've been to anyone's house, Harry, you
Yeah,
get
that's
involved
because
here.
your
and-
friends
and
aren't fancy enough.
Nobody's friends has
to have
bloody
a
salad in
Gail
a-
Jensen salad bowl.
No one has friends that has a salad bowl like that.
It's a dog bowl. I'm not sure I want to be here for 15 years anymore.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.